I treated my ex like gold. I always respected her, communicated with her, and considered her feelings in every aspect of our relationship. I paid for most things, was emotionally available at all times, introduced her to my friends, took her out everywhere, planned trips to other cities on my own, and was always considerate and caring. I made crafts and gifts with my own hands for her, went over to her place every weekend, never came empty-handed, and always brought her something. I spoke to her every day, shoveled snow for her parents, and was extremely considerate towards her. In return, I got a narcissistic smear campaign. I lost a bunch of friends who I was always kind and helpful towards. I was blamed for opening up to her. She used my vulnerabilities and insecurities against me. She kept dating apps while we were together and revealed this at the end of the relationship. She slept with at least 2 people while we were getting serious. She lied to me multiple times. Her pattern was a bunch of lies about everything. She kept following guys she hooked up with on Instagram and lied about unfollowing them. She wanted to travel for weeks with her girlfriends alone without me while we were committed to each other. She kept her ex-old shirts and wore them in front of me, despite my visible discomfort and direct expression of it. She would take over 12 hours to respond to my texts, always avoiding and dragging out simple communication. She gave me an STD. She stonewalled me constantly and refused to communicate about the future or any difficult conversation. It was like speaking to a brick wall. Her friend even tried to destroy my professional reputation among mutual friends who work in my field. What pisses me off about this situation isn't even my ex. I'm over that part. What I'm not over is how people treated me. Everyone shunned me, disrespected me, disregarded me, and no one defended me. I am disgusted. She is blocked on absolutely everything, and so are some mutual friends. It's been 2 years, and I have no intention of ever speaking to her again. I don't wish to see her face. I wouldn't care if she or I died before we saw each other. She's already dead to me.
I've been dating a guy for 3 months. During this time, we've spoken every day, all day, something very unlike me. We've seen each other less than we would have liked due to both of us being out of the country at times, but we spent as much time together as possible. He asked me to be exclusive. We've been together physically, and I really started to like him. I'm very careful with who I allow into my life, so this was a big deal for me. Last Tuesday, his attitude suddenly seemed to change. The loving messages became less frequent, and we didn't see each other as much. I asked him what was wrong, and he said work was causing him stress. I was away at the end of the week, and we already had plans to see each other on Saturday, so I dropped it. Saturday comes, and he asks me to come over. I go over, and he kisses me. We're intimate. And then he sets up the Olympics outside with some drinks for us. I ask him how he is and how work is going. He tells me it's been stressful because his manager resigned. I asked if that was all, mentioning that things felt distant this week. Then he drops the bombshell. He might be relocating for work in September and found out about it on Tuesday. He says he can't put 100% into our relationship now because he might be leaving. And he's been hurt before by investing in a relationship only to move away. He insists it's not about his feelings for me and that he was seeing something long-term. I didn't say much as I was getting pretty upset. While his reason is fair, the way he handled it, making a decision without discussing it with me and being intimate right before telling me, felt wrong. He also said I haven't opened up much, but I feel I have. I'm just cautious for this exact reason. Then he started crying, which stressed me out even more. I ended up comforting him and then left. Now, I feel at a loss about what to do. After collecting my thoughts, should I speak to him or just leave it?
This has been bugging me forever. I'm 16 now, and I still think about it sometimes. It really bugs me and makes me feel like a terrible person. A few years ago, I went glamping with my mom, my brothers, my mom's friend, and her daughter, who was probably around 11. We were all in the hot tub when she got really angry at something I said. I don't even remember what it was, and threw a rock at my face. It hit the right side of my face, including my eye. In a blind fit of anger, I just punched her on the side of the head. She and her mom recently visited my home, and it's been really awkward. I don't think she told her mom, but it's been bugging me for the last few years. I just feel like a terrible human being, and I needed to get it off my chest.
So, I 21F have been dating 28M for about 5 months now. About 1 month into the relationship, he went on a camping trip with his 2 girl best friends. These plans were already made before we started dating, so I didn't care much, even though it did make me feel a bit uncomfortable, just him and 2 girls getting drunk together alone in a cabin in the mountains. Once those girls graduated college, they moved out of state, and he completely stopped talking to them roughly 2 months ago. Anyways, he and I discussed our boundaries about having opposite gender friendships around the same time 2 months ago, and he claims that's the reason he stopped talking to them, because he didn't want to make me uncomfortable. I totally give him credit for this because I didn't even have to ask him to cut them off. He just did it out of respect for my boundaries. However, I saw their old messages just the other day, and he had saved photos of the girls in chat, like just selfie pictures with no caption or anything. This, of course, made me upset because although it was months ago and he stopped talking to them, he still saved their photos in chat while he and I were dating for 3 months. The reason I'm so upset is because, in my opinion, the only reason you save girls' pictures like that is because you think they're pretty. There was no caption or funny face or anything like that. He wasn't even in the photos, so it hurt a lot to know he thought his girl best friends were so pretty that he had to save their snaps while he was dating me. I'm really trying to move past it, but who's to say he won't do other things like this again? I think it's emotionally cheating, but I'm trying to see his side. He claims they're just friends and he's never liked them or slept with them or kissed them, etc. Plus, he did cut those girls off for me without me even asking to respect our relationship months ago. Am I overreacting?
I, 29F, have a 10-month-old child and am over 3 months pregnant with my second. Recently, I found out my fiancé has been lying about what he's doing, where he's going, and manipulating and gaslighting me. To make it worse, I discovered he thought he'd get away with having a mistress 2 hours away, which he still denied even after I spoke to the girl. The trust has been completely shattered. I feel ridiculous, betrayed, and disrespected. On top of all this, he went broke last year, so I've had to support us financially to the point where I have nothing left. I'm wiped clean. After speaking to this other girl, I kicked him out and decided to move across the country to live with my mom. There, I can start saving up again, have family support, I have none in this state, and be mentally healthy again. My fiancé called me selfish and said I'm going to ruin our kids' lives because I don't want to live with him despite us being broken up. I want my kids to have their dad around, but my mental health is affecting my physical health, and I am constantly anxious. I can't live like this. I spoke to several friends who are married with kids, and they said I am making the right decision, but he made me feel so awful. I didn't ask him to cheat on me and ruin everything.